Hey guys, I'm Ben with Spotter Up. I'm here to talk to you about the LA Police Gear Terrain Flex. These are the straight fit jeans. They also come in a slim cut. I like to work leg day a lot, so I don't ever go with slim cut. It just doesn't work out. So for the process of this review, I've had these jeans for about 5 to 6 weeks. So with that being said, I'm not going to really focus too much on durability because I feel like 5 to 6 weeks is not enough time to evaluate a pair of jeans. These have not given me any reason to feel that they're going to fail anytime soon, but I can't say for sure whether or not they will. It's a very short amount of time to test those. So in regard to that, I'm not going to give it a score other than to say that they've held up well to stains from toddlers, running through the mud, snow, everything like that, and I haven't had any issue. The next category I'd move on to is functionality and practicality for these jeans. So for tactical pants, practicality and functionality are kind of the big things you go for, and the big thing that comes from that is what are the pockets like, what do they do, and do they function well. So I'm going to go over what I wear on a daily basis and what I have, and then I'll show you a few other things for range use and things like that that might apply to a few different scenarios. So there are 9 pockets, which to me was an incredible amount, and I thought there's no way they're going to function that well. But every single pocket seems well thought out and works really well. So you have your standard hip pockets. I usually, you throw your car keys, whatever, in there. There's nothing too weird about that. They do have reinforcement for your pocket knife, if you have a flashlight clip, something like that. And the reinforcement is only in the corner, so it's not too robust. So it's not like if you have a tight clip, it won't seat, but it works really well. And if you're not clipping anything there, you won't even notice it's there. Going from there, they have 2 your watch or change pockets. You know those tiny little pockets that are usually useless and nobody can use them for anything? Well, what they did is they took them and they enlarged them and made them much more usable. So on the left side, just to show you guys, I have a Glock 19 mag. The one downside to these is if you have these right here, whenever you bend over, if it's not canted to the side, if it's just straight up and down, you're going to feel that dig into your body a little bit. It is too short for a full-size magazine. Usually I carry a Beretta 92, so it does stick out, but if you're carrying a compact magazine, that's going to work great for you if you need a new spot to carry a mag. For the right side, both my sons have extreme food allergies, so all I do is I take one of their EpiPens and I can drop it right there in my pocket. I don't have to worry about running to a bag or something like that. I have that medical emergency right there on hand, which is great. So then switching to the back pockets, you have basically what's become your standard cut for tactical pants. You have your M4 or spare magazine pouch on either side. For these ones, I usually just carry my Surefire clipped right there, and it works great. If you have your phone, I usually shove my phone in my other side pocket, and that works out great. And the really nice thing is they're far enough to the side that if you have your wallet or something in your back pocket, it's not overlapping and kind of pushing together against your body. They're both separate sections, so it works really well. And if you put something in there, you're going to kind of forget it's there. For doing the review, I sometimes forgot I had an empty M4 magazine in my back pocket. It's just that convenient. If you are running an M4 mag for a rifle reload or something like that, so they do seat really deep. I'll have a close-up picture on the article. So they seat very deep, so that's good in that they're not going to be sticking out and printing if you're trying to conceal or something. The downside is if you go to reload, you're going to be pretty low on that mag, so you might need to do an extra skip just to get that reload. That's not a huge deal. It's kind of give and take. You have more concealment, but it's harder to access quickly. But you can still do a pretty significant reload even with that down deep. As long as you practice that, it's not going to be a huge issue for you. Same thing goes to the other side. It's just a mirror image. It'll work out really great. There is a 9th pocket right here in the belt loop. I have a close-up picture of it. They call it a handcuff key pocket. I don't carry handcuff keys on me. I know that there are people out there that do that. So if you need something that works really well. I didn't think that anything would actually stay inside that pocket. So what I did is I just took a couple of pennies and stuck them in there, and then I checked a few days later to see if they were still there. And I am not 2 cents poorer, so it does work really well for hiding something there. Weight or aesthetics, how the jeans look and how heavy are they is another category we hit. As far as weight, they're on the thinner side. That's not necessarily a bad thing because it makes moving a little bit easier, but it's been in the high teens, low 20s up here in Pennsylvania. So I've noticed I've been a little bit colder outside on the legs compared to some thicker pairs of jeans. Again, that's not a negative, that's just something to keep in mind. As far as looks, they look like a normal pair of jeans, which is awesome because there are so many guys that look like they just walked off the range, and they're anyone that's bothering to look sees, okay, this guy's kind of like a tactical Timmy, what's he got going on there, and that's not what you want. There are people out there that will say, well, no one's going to notice that, there's only a few people that notice that. It's like, I don't want anyone to notice that I'm planning on carrying or anything like that. I'm prepared. I just want them to see, hey, that's just a stay-at-home dad playing with his kids and life goes on. So they look very normal. The only time you can see a difference is when you see the pockets up higher. But again, I'm not exposing this much of my body, because if I'm exposing that much, they're going to start to see my belt line, and then if they see my belt line, they see the clips there, and that just leads to bad things. So they look fine. There's a bunch of color options, and they don't look like they're tactical or anything like that. The last category I want to hit is the fit and comfort level of these pants. Now, they are very comfortable. There's I think it's a 98% denim and 2% spandex. That's going to change depending on the color, but for mine, I have the 2% spandex. That works out great as far as movement. I mean, you can squat. You could probably work out in these. If you do work out in pants, I think you're weird, but that's just me. You can easily get that done. The one downside is with that much spandex, they do stretch out as you wear them for a period of days. That's not a huge deal in the legs. I always like having a little bit more room in the legs. The problem is I'm already going oversized in the waist, and then when you have that spandex stretch, you're just getting more and more looseness there that you don't want, so you just end up bunching your pants tighter and tighter with your belt. That's just something to keep in mind. If you're usually on the cusp, if you're a 32 and you're just there, and sometimes you go up to a 34, you might be fine with 32 because these are going to stretch out for you and you'll give you plenty of room. But overall, the stretchiness really does help running around chasing my sons at the playground, doing things like that, and they've been great for that. There's one point I forgot to hit. So I normally carry a full-size magazine. I honestly don't carry a spare that often. It just doesn't work for my lifestyle. But if I take my empty gun, so if I have a full-size mag in the back pocket, since that seats so deep for an M4 mag, it also seats pretty deep for a pistol mag. The plus side of that is it's fully concealed. No one can tell you have a magazine back there. The downside is if you go for a reload, you're kind of scrabbling around, or you have to do this weird two-finger grip on the front and the back, which is kind of weird for an effective reload. I have played with it quite a bit. If you're going to be carrying back there for a reload, you might want to get something like the Neomag. Not something like the Neomag, get the Neomag because they make a great product. And that way, instead of having to dig around in your back pocket or do a weird reload, you can just get your hands on the magazine and get that gun back up and ready. Whether you're trying to compete this way or whether you need to do a reload in real life, it'd be a good idea to have something that keeps the mag stable and easier to access for you.